For social studies today, we are going over the state of Massachusetts. So I'm going to read you some information on Massachusetts, and then we're going to watch a video and pretty much take like a tour of Massachusetts. Since we can't go on vacation right now, it's the closest thing we can get to. And Massachusetts is a fabulous state to visit if you want to go on vacation. So let's get started. Okay, some fast facts. Its nickname is the Bay State. It was the sixth state and was formed in 1788. The capital is Boston, which is also their biggest city. Their state bird is the black-capped chickadee, and their state flower is the Mayflower. Massachusetts has a lot of history, so let's read about some. People started living in what's now called Massachusetts back about 12,000 years ago, when retreating glaciers uncovered the land. Some artifacts have even been discovered in lakes and rivers created by melting glaciers. Thousands of years later, Native American tribes, including the Wampanoag, Mohegan, and Mohican, lived on the land. In 1620, a ship called the Mayflower arrived at Cape Cod carrying settlers called Pilgrims. These people were escaping religious persecution in England and created the first permanent European settlement in New England called Plymouth. New England is a region in the northeast United States that was settled by people from England. Soon after, the Pilgrims celebrated the first Thanksgiving with members of the Wampanoag tribe, which still exists in Massachusetts today. Massachusetts has been the scene of many historical events. In 1639, America's first post office opened in Boston. In 1692 and 1693, untrue rumors led to witch hunts in Salem, Massachusetts. And in 1876, Alexander Graham Bell demonstrated the first telephone. But Massachusetts may be most historically significant for the role its people played in the Revolutionary War. Anger erupted in 1770 after 5 colonists were killed by British soldiers in what's known as the Boston Massacre. 3 years later, colonists disguised as Native Americans threw cases of tea into Boston Harbor to protest high taxes from England. The event is known as the Boston Tea Party. In 1775, the battles of Lexington and Concord became the first fight of the Revolutionary War. The movement of the British troops prompted silversmith Paul Revere to make his famous midnight ride to warn the colonists. 5 years after the war ended, Massachusetts became the 6th U.S. state in 1788. Why is it called Massachusetts? Massachusetts' name might come from the Massachusetts tribe, whose name can be translated to near the Great Hill or near the range of hills. It refers to the Blue Hills southwest of Boston. The state's nickname, the Bay State, may originate from its many bays, or it might refer to the Massachusetts Bay Company, which was given a royal charter to colonize the land. So here on the left, we see the state flag, which you have the blue shield, and then you have a Native American in the middle of it. Then we have the state tree, which is the American elm, the state bird, the black-capped chickadee, the state flowers, the Mayflower, and then the state quarter. Okay, so let's see where Massachusetts is. So it's northeast of New Jersey, compared. Okay, so Massachusetts is a New England state bordered by New Hampshire and Vermont in the north, the Atlantic Ocean in the east, Rhode Island and Connecticut in the south, and New York in the west. What looks like a big hook in Massachusetts' eastern coastline is actually land created by glaciers that exposed many rocky bays. Called the coastal lowland, this hilly, wet area includes Cape Cod Bay, Martha's Vineyard, and the Nantucket Islands, all great for fishing, boating, and vacationing. The center of the state has streams and plains with gentle hills. Toward the west, the land rises into mountains. It includes a popular spot for fall leaf watching called the Berkshires, as well as Massachusetts' highest point, Mount Greylock. In the far west are the Taconic Mountains. See their wildlife. Mammals such as black bears, bobcats, eastern coyotes, moose, and white-tailed deer roam around Massachusetts. Bald eagles, wild turkeys, northern cardinals, blue jays, mourning doves, and American robins fly through the state, and snapping turtles, eastern ribbon snakes, and five-lined skinks are among Massachusetts reptiles. Eastern newts, American bullfrogs, and American toads are a few of the Bay State's best-known amphibians. Sugar maples, eastern white pines, sycamores, and American elms, which is the state tree, grow in the state forest. Massachusetts is also filled with wildflowers such as New England asters, blue violets, wild bleeding hearts, black-eyed Susans, and ox-eye daisies. Some of the natural resources. The state's fertile soil and its harbors, the Bay State has more than 1,500 miles of coastline, produce plenty of crops and seafood. Local farmers grow about 25% of the cranberries in the United States. Now let's hear some fun stuff about Boston. Boston cream pie, which is chocolate iced white cake filled with custard, is the official state dessert, but it's not the only famous Massachusetts goodie. Chocolate chip cookies were invented here too. Paul Revere, Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, John Hancock, Susan B. Anthony, and Dr. Seuss, whose real name is Theodore Seuss Geisel, were all born in Massachusetts. You can visit Plymouth Rock, the boulder that's said to be the exact spot where the Pilgrims stepped off the Mayflower. It's less than half the size today as it was in the 1600s. Tourists kept chipping off pieces. Boston's Freedom Trail is a painted line through the city that leads history buffs to 16 official Revolutionary sites, including the Paul Revere House, where Revere lived at the time of his famous Midnight Ride. In the late 1600s, about 20 people died because they were accused of witchcraft in a series of hearings called the Salem Witch Trials. So that concludes our reading for the day. And then for social studies, I'm going to show you a quick video on some things you could see if you were to go to Massachusetts.
We often say, it's all here in Massachusetts, but what does all really mean? Is it the rich history, the classic architecture, the impressive art? Of course, but you already knew that. But all encompasses so much more than that. All includes beautiful Boston, America's greatest walking city, recently named one of the most innovative cities in the world. All is world-renowned academia, which reinforces Massachusetts as a hub of technology and innovation. All is year-round events and cultural happenings, so there's never a dull moment. All includes the diverse mix of people you'll find here and the people who we welcome here. All is more than 2,400 kilometers of gorgeous seacoast, 12 fantastic ski areas, and some truly spectacular islands. All encompasses incredibly diverse art and a truly vibrant music scene. All is about internationally acclaimed restaurants, inventive dining, and a whole lot of delicious seafood. All includes so much fantastic shopping you would not believe. All has been featured in quite a few movies, because all means quaint New England villages and charming country roads. And of course, all includes our tradition-steeped sports teams. So what is it you want to do next? It's all right here in Massachusetts.
So Massachusetts is a great place to have family vacation. So when we finally get to get out of the house, think about going to Massachusetts for vacation.